Yeah, but it's backwards.
You gotta hit your screen. The big homie Scooty. How you? What's up, Ron? There you go.
Here we go.
Welcome to the IG Live world.
Oh man, this is my first time on here. It's feeling good, man.
Well, we definitely appreciate having you, man. Definitely appreciate everybody bearing with us, tuning in. Make sure you guys share this with somebody that you guys think that can use this information, man. And for those of you who don't know, Lorenzo Jackson, Philadelphia's own Southwest Philly guy, you know, when I tell you, people think, yo, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. Lorenzo has done it and exceeded that times 10 more than likely. So
Oh,
I'm excited to share his story, excited for you guys to meet him. He's been helping me in my journey, helping me with my rehabs. So, I'm sure you guys are going to get some gems from him. But, enough about me talking. Lorenzo, go ahead and introduce yourself.
no, I appreciate Lorenzo Jackson, owner of Jackson Rental Homes. Definitely a Southwest representative. Uh, Proud about that. And I've been doing the real estate for coming on 12, 13 years now. So definitely
Okay.
excited to share my story. My first time actually opening up. So I'm gonna give you what I got.
Nah, well, we definitely appreciate it. But definitely good people. Go ahead and share this. We're gonna give them a couple minutes to jump on. Lorenzo, what you working on right now?
Right now we got two flips, and then
Okay.
we got two under contract and two refis.
So
So
you
we
said two flips. That's
two flips.
being four rehabs,
That's right.
and then you got two properties pending that you're gonna go to closing on.
Yes.
Okay, and those properties are gonna be flips. They're gonna be rehabs. What's the situation with those?
Those are flips.
Okay, so more flips, and then you're working on two refis. Those will be rentals.
The two rentals, yes.
Okay,
So
that's dope, man. That's dope. You keep things in the pipeline, that's for sure.
I think that's key. That's one thing we learned early. You got to keep moving because if not, we're gonna sit around and you don't have nothing to do.
Well, nothing to do, and then that money, is slow up, and when slow up, sometimes it's hard to get it started back up.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Lavar had said that not too long ago, and it was for me, it was eye opening. Like it made sense. Like, yo, you got to build your. It's better to build your pipeline up so you can predict your income and control your income versus like every time you do a deal, now you only as good as the last deal, and
And
that
you got
money run out quick.
exactly. It run out real quick. So I learned that from like you learned that from Bar. I learned that from Aisha too. So she told me
Oh,
she's always have something to work on. So I'm sure we'll get to it, but that's why I always have something tucked away.
okay, Auntie Aisha for sure.
That's right.
So, what college did you go to, Lorenzo?
I went to Hampton University,
Oh,
HBCU. Down in
okay, so salute to you. Okay, and you also were a part of a fraternity.
Yeah, I'm one of my Ice Cold brothers, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Man, that's how we do it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So talk about your journey. Like, did you learn about real estate in college or was that after college?
So I learned real early on. So we used to hoop back in the day. So I always think about the time where we used to play ball, and my father was a real estate investor.
Okay. So
So
this was kind of something that was in the family. You just was paying attention, just, waiting your turn kind of thing.
paying attention is one thing, but another thing is we're gonna play basketball. Before we gotta play ball, we gotta clean out this unit and get like this rent. So we were we were actually actively involved in the process of him having his rental home. So that helped a lot being exposed to it. Um, and I could always think like I'm like, you got 40. Well, imagine if you had 40.
Right.
But I
But
think
not, but that's dope though. The fact that, you started with Pop. Pop was showing you the game, whether he knew you was paying attention or not, but just having that mindset or having the notion that, yo, you can have more than one house. It
right.
was something that, helped you keep the eye on the prize kind of thing.
Right. So yeah, even though going into college, I knew that was sort of what I wanted to do. So um, yeah, so that's how I was introduced to it, and that's how I started. And I got my real estate license right after I graduated college. So I think
Okay.
I graduated in August. I got my license in like September, like that next month. So it was one of the first things I did when I graduated.
As soon as you got out.
Oh, so I might have, my timeline might be mixed up, but I might even have my license before I got my degree.
Okay, so while you were in college, what was the thought process with college? Like, hey, I got this degree, but I know I really want to do real estate, or what was that like?
Well, I went in school as an entrepreneurship major.
Okay, so Hampton has the entrepreneurship.
They did, but once I entered the program, everything that they were teaching me was to work for someone else.
Mm.
It was not.
Wait, so how'd that work?
It was, they're teaching you how to do, preparing you how to really work for someone else. So it didn't work too well. So I switched majors and I ended up being a management major.
Okay, all right. So you still finished, got out of school, had that experience, but then it was like, all right, now that when I'm getting out here, I know what I got to do to hit the ground running. So did you just go straight into real estate entrepreneur, or did you go ahead and get a job?
I had internships with retail, so I did a few interns with Sears, Target, so to use my management degree. Um,
Okay.
and then one day, my manager said a few things to me, and I walked out that day.
Oh, you
And
walked out.
I walked out that day, and this is all before I actually got my degree. So I walked out, and then that's when I signed up to get my real estate license. And while I was getting my real estate license, I waited tables, and I was a substitute teacher while I was getting my license because
Right, get
that was hard.
right, get that $100 a day substitute and they put some money on the table. And then
Right.
meanwhile out here trying to be hunting and doing real estate deals. So like talk about that journey. So you didn't have any properties yet. It just was I got my real estate license and I'm trying to figure it out.
I got my real estate license. I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm still in Virginia.
Okay. So were you licensed in Virginia or licensed in
Like,
PA?
I was licensed in Virginia.
Okay. Okay.
So I was licensed in Virginia, and I got really lucky. I think I sold my first house. I was maybe 22
Mm-hmm.
as the agent, um, and somehow I got a 4% commission,
So
and I
you
made
was up.
enough to move home.
Now you could get all your stuff and get you home. Okay.
I got my check, and I moved back into my parents' house. And you'll see Jackson Rental Homes. My first start was renting out houses.
Okay.
So
Wait, you started out yourself, not owning property, but just renting properties.
I started as an agent. When I got to Philly, all of
Mm-hmm.
my friends my network wanted to rent. No one was in a position to buy. So I found out early on that you can get almost a 4 months uh,
Commission.
commission on a rental. So I'm like,
Right,
oh,
which is
$1,000 here, that adds up quick.
right. So I was gonna say, so for people who don't know, starting out as well, my first line of work as a realtor was with rentals. I was up Temple killing it, renting rooms. And that was when I first found out about the real estate money. And I thought I had hit the bag. Because that rental money, like you said, I could rent a house or a room out every week. And
Right.
this when they first had started new construction really down there. So you're talking about it's 16 kids in one house.
Right.
So I was getting 300-400 a door, and I might be doing 4 or 5 a week. And you talking about still living in the back room. So what I was doing? I was going down Mad Max down University City when it was open, turning up.
Exactly. I was probably there with you. I kicked out that. But yeah.
Mad Max in the 12 lounge. Yeah, see the good days, the good days.
Big asses to put you down sometimes.
Right. So you started out with the rentals, built your business up, and now I take it your friends are starting to progress. You're starting to progress. So
Right.
are you working a 9 to 5 at this point, or is it strictly all the real estate?
Well, I paired up with a big investor, and he had about 400 units.
Okay,
So I got real lucky with that.
a local investor.
A local investor. So
Okay.
you get a call saying, "All right, I have 400 units, 20 of them are vacant. What can you do?" What can I do? So, I actually rented all of them out, and then I didn't have anything else to do. So I took my skills in the corporate world, and worked for an apartment complex.
Okay. So then
So
that's how you learn the property management. I take it.
that's how I learned the property management business. So
Okay.
we were running, we had 400 units up there, and we was doing like 12 million a year. And long story short, once I became the manager, I learned how to run a full operation.
Okay.
From insurance, how to handle maintenance and turns, so the full everything. So that's my baseline, and that was also my introduction to a lot of different rooms, was being able to rent out properties. They would turn to you, well, how much can you rent this for? And then you tell them, all right, I can get it for this amount. I can rent 20 of these in 2 weeks,
Right.
and that started everything up.
So at what point did you go from I'm just the property manager to like, all right, I want to own some property?
Well, my goal was always to own properties.
Okay.
It was more so just to lead up. And my first property, I was a flip. So my goal was to flip to build some more capital, and I actually lost $26,000. I lost everything I had.
So what was that timeline though? Like what was that gap from I've been doing property management for how long now?
I would say maybe 4 years.
Okay, so say 4 years in the game of doing the transactional side, the sell side, to
Right.
now you're doing the flip.
Now I'm gonna do a flip, and the flip, it took me 12 months to finish it.
Ooh, I take contractors, right?
Contract, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay. So you on your first project, did you take like a full rehab or was it supposed to be just cosmetic?
It was supposed to be cosmetic, but then I was watching HGTV, and I turned it into almost a full gut by accident. I'm like, let's open all this up. We run it on the staircase, and we had full bathrooms in the basement. It was wild. So, um,
But it did sell eventually.
oh, it's so pretty quickly too.
Okay, so it was nice, but it was for your experience looking back at it, and I mean you can speak on it better than I can, I guess. Was it a situation where because of your inexperience, you were doing more than what you needed to do kind of thing?
I did way more than I needed to do, and if I would have known the process, even flipping the house, I was so excited to have the house. I didn't have anything lined up.
So talk
So,
about that. And so if I'm looking to flip my first house, what do I need to have lined up?
well, let's say now if I buy a house, like we just bought a house on, let's say Friday, I forget what day it was. We started the demo on Monday,
Okay.
and I probably would have started on Saturday if he was available. But
Right.
no, I bought the house. I bought the house, and I was walking around the house. I was like, okay, so now what do I do? And I had no plan. But now there's actually a whole system in place to get me from A to B with different exit strategies. But my biggest mistake, and I didn't know about the contractors, that it's a different world dealing with contractors. It's a different animal.
So when you say a different world, what do you mean? Like, don't the contractors show up and be happy to get paid and do work and help you make money? That's
You know,
not, don't, isn't that what they like?
that'd be nice, man. I tell you, we're paying people up front. My drywall got located, it's $1,000, whatever the price was, and I cut him a check, and he didn't show up for 2 weeks.
So, so you mean to tell me these grown people that say that this is their job, this is what they do, and you mean to tell me you give them the money and then they don't show up?
Give them the money,
Like,
they don't show up, don't answer your calls,
so
texting them.
how's that work? Like, so just let's talk about, so like back then you were giving them the checks up front. So now what do you recommend with the checks?
Now I handle it's two different types of trades. I got the like my mechanical guys, the HVAC, electrician, and the plumbers. I handle them differently than the carpenters. So the carpenters, and I think you may do the same thing. You don't get paid until your first or maybe even second day on the job, because all the materials are there. So if I don't trust you, your payment plan may be broken down into 3 or 4 different payments. So if you're gonna, let's say if you're going, the demo guys, I'll use them. He's supposed to start on Monday. I'm there on Monday. Make sure everything's done. You get your check on Tuesday when you show up for the second day. And it might be midday, second day. So I know I get at least 2 full days out of work out of you.
Okay.
Instead of paying you on Saturday and then you're not showing up.
Mm. So do you like, is there a reason why these contractors are, not all of them, so it's not all of them, but some of these contractors are so challenging?
I don't think that they're challenging. I think it depends on your system.
Oh,
They will take advantage if they can.
okay.
So, and people still try to take advantage of me. So, and
Okay.
I can't even say I'm mad at them because now I'm used to it. You know, you're a nice guy. They think that certain things can happen, but Now, it's like, all right, I'm gonna finish up tomorrow. Can you just pay me right now, and I'll finish up tomorrow? And the nice way, you know what? Let's do this. I'm busy too. When you finish,
Call me.
call me, and I'll pay you.
Right. But
And
when
this
you
is,
finish.
when you finish.
Okay.
And I think that's key, paying people prior to and inspecting the work as well. So
Okay.
um, sometimes some people, we can get into other strategies when it comes to different draws. The more advanced one is letting guys do the whole thing and actually paying them after you get your draw.
But I think that's after you build the rapport, or is that
Right.
right? Okay, but that's for the people like once you get your ducks in a row, the guys would be willing to work with you like that. But starting out, you probably just had a systems in place, would you say? Like, yo, I'll give you a partial payment now when you show up to the job site.
When you show up to the job site after you start working. Because if we
Right.
both go up at 9 o'clock, I've seen guys take the payment, go cash it, and they still won't come back. That's why it's a different type of business. So I want to see you on the job and working, and I want
With
to
your
see
tools. With your tools.
with the tools.
That's the important thing, with your tools.
Yes.
Okay. So and can you talk about like what justifies a project being a flip versus a rental for you?
Uh, and this, I think prior to, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago, it was easier to do the rentals because your all-in purchase and repair price was a lot lower.
Okay.
So now before we would be all in at maybe 90,000, 100, we're all in at 160, 170. And I don't think that
Now we're all in that 160,
now we're all in,
170.
and I don't think that could justify actually a rental home in Philly right now. So that's
Okay.
why I'm flipping for the last 2 years. So right now it's just flip. So when I first started, my goal was to make 30,000 a flip. I just wanted to make $30,000 because that's how much my salary was when I first got out of school.
Okay, right. So if you
So
do one or two of those a year, you didn't beat your salary, you straight.
right, let alone 5 or 6 or something like that, then you really did okay.
Right.
So that's how I ran my numbers, and a lot of people do the 65%. I was real strong with numbers before, but once I broke it down, like if I can make 30,000, and if I could do this, 4 or 5 times a year, my goal was early on to make $100,000 a year.
Right.
And if I want to be a six-figure person, I'm like, how can I get to six figures? And that's the strategy I had was do 3 flips and use your license to make sales and rentals, and that'll get you to 100.
Right. In between the flips.
Right.
Right. Okay. So now with the rentals, but I mean, we heard you say, hey, you got 2 more houses coming up now. And then, we see you posting the rentals all the time. So, I mean, what justifies if it is going to be a rental? Like, how would one, like, if I'm starting out, like, what can you recommend for me to look out? Like, hey, I need a rental. This to justify it being a good rental.
I think if you're starting out, I think the perfect, we call them plays. I don't know if people are familiar with that. The perfect play would be like maybe a conversion. And it seems to be complicated, but if you can convert a single family to a duplex or a triplex, then it makes sense because there's less competition and you're all in at, like we say, the 150, but then you're getting $3,200 a month, then it makes perfect sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you said, wait, so I think we got to slow that up for the new people. And I got a little game, but I still need you to break it down for me. So we saying take the regular single family house.
Right.
Because I'm paying more than what I initially want to pay, say 5 years ago, we was paying 30, 40. Now
Right.
we probably paying 75, 90.
Yeah, 70. Yep, 79.
So that for that same 70 grand house that I would have paid 30 for,
Right.
convert it to a duplex.
Right.
I'm paying almost the same amount in rehab.
Right.
Take that rehab, bring in more income because now I got 2 tenants.
Yes. Or 3. Yes. At least 2 tenants, or if not more than that. So then your income justifies what they call the Bird method, like actually refining out and things like that.
So the conversion though from single family to duplex, is that challenging? Like, do I got to go to a zoning hearing and I got to get plans and all this other stuff?
If it's not zoned, we got RM1s. So if you can get the correct zoning, you can do it by right. And that's what, if I was just starting out and I wanted to build up my rental portfolio, I would focus on only single families that you can convert to multi-units by right. Because the playbook that you have is buy something for 50, put 50 into it and rent it out. But it's hard to find homes in Philadelphia for under 50. So I get new people, they're getting very frustrated. And I'm sure you get the calls too. I've been looking for a year. I've been looking for a year and a half. There's
No, my
nothing.
favorite call is yo, I got 25 grand. I'm ready. I'm
Right.
about to buy this crib and cash out. Not in Philly. Maybe Chester. Maybe Baltimore. Maybe. Because even them numbers, Camden, them numbers is even going up.
Right. That's right. So, and I think that's where, if I was to start now, that's where I would go, because you're going to run less competition as well. And you'll actually be able to do it without something you can actually implement.
So what's that zoning called again? If I'm looking for a property, you said
RM1?
Got write that down.
All right.
Look, y'all better write that down. That's free game he just gave y'all if y'all didn't catch it. So now with those rentals, and now I turned in from a person that had no doors to 2 doors off the first deal.
Right off the first deal.
So now can we start scaling? If I get the 1, can I go buy 3 more now?
Now, you want me to go over the Bird method, or they already know about that?
Hey, please explain the Bird method. Go ahead,
So
because everybody got different perspectives. So let's talk about it.
Right. So I used the Bird method heavy for my first 20 rentals, and that's all I did.
Your first 20?
First 20.
First, not like 2. You said 20 with a 0.
The first 20, I used the Bird method.
And you did that while you was at your 9 to 5.
While I was at work.
All right, let's just go into the Bird.
I mean, I can back up on how I started, because I'm big in Southwest and West. So I buy a property, and I buy mine in batches. So I was buying them at 3 or 4 after I got experience. So 3 or 4 at a time. And I would find a tenant. I would have a house, and you would get 10 applications. So, and you can only accept 1. But now I have 3 other houses that's available. So now you want this, it's going to look just like this. Now I got 4 leases. I'm sending 4 leases over to the lender. And that's what PFCU. So if anybody is familiar, they want to look for Bird, PFCU. And I'm sending them all over at one time, all getting appraised at one time. And we're cashing out all at one time. And we re-up in 4 again. And we're going to keep doing the same thing. All similar houses, all the same price, all the same materials. So we're just taking everything over from this house to this house, to this house, to this house.
And now you can control the contractors, because look, I got 4 houses all in the same proximity. I need you to start demo here on Monday, start demo here on Thursday, start demo there the next Monday.
Right.
And just keep round robin.
And then they're less likely to burn you, because why would you cut off your cash cow? It's like, I'm keeping you working all year round. And, so I think that also helped too. The more projects I got, the more contracts, not necessarily loyalty, but the more they would do it and the more money you're holding. It's like, look, you still got, now I got $10,000 up on you. You got to finish your first project. So, and that helped a lot. Having projects and having stuff in the pipeline, always working really, that makes a big difference from being a small time investor to maybe, I call myself like a medium sized investor.
Hey man, it's so as Justin would say, it's still small fish that's still millionaires.
Right.
So, but we jumped. So like you went from, I got this 1 property. At first you just was doing single jingles. Now you changed the game where you're doing conversions on the properties. So like just go to the beginning part, like starting out, what kind of nest egg of cash, like what do I need to set myself up as a new investor?
Well, my process, and I'll go real quick, and I told you I'm gonna be transparent on this. So I had my 20,000, and then as I was flipping out the house, my first one, I ended up losing my 26.
Okay.
So I took a 6-month break to recuperate.
Mm-hmm,
but in that 6 months, I'm going all in, working 12, 14 hours a day to get back. So I got back, and another 20. I always say 20,000 is what helps, because you got to pay for your down deposit, you got to get your draws going. And what changed the game for me was business credit. When I went for my first business credit run, I got a good almost $40,000.
So that cash plus the business credit, because like, so Karan was on here last week and we were speaking, not last week, week before, and she was like, I saved up 50 in cash, plus
Right.
I had the credit, but she was like, I really just wanted the 50 in cash. So for you, you were willing to start a little early, having the 20 in cash, but 40 in credit. So you still had 60 grand.
Right. And that right there, that puts you on steroids. So I was off after that. Once I got that, I couldn't. I won't say I couldn't be stopped, but once you got 60 grand, it's hard to really
You was
mess it
comfortable. At that point,
up.
you was comfortable.
Yeah, I was comfortable.
So even let's talk about that mindset shift. How did you go from, look, I'm comfortable doing this one deal to I'm about to kill him, I'm doing 2, 3 at a time?
Because I think, because people will also offer me houses too. So when I say I'm buying houses, I'm buying like one on 5643, and I'm buying the next one like the next block over for the exact same price.
Mm-hmm.
So once I did one, it's more so confidence. My confidence was through the roof because I knew I could do it.
Okay.
It could be done. And the guys, they were willing to work with me. I had a pretty decent team. Once you got rid of everybody else, but once you had a pretty decent team and they want to work with you, the community was actually behind me too. They would help. Like, hey, they call me Junior back in Southwest. Like, Junior, you got this. I got this house, and I'm all right. I'm buying it, and I'm buying everything I can. So that was one of the things. Whether I could start on it now, or whether I had to wait for my refis to go through and then start on it, and I had to pay a little bit more in interest. But I always kept something waiting for everybody to do.
So just double back.
Let me go back.
How did you get the business credit?
I went through.
So how did you let's start with this.
Oh.
How did you set yourself up to be eligible for business credit?
I had to get my credit right. So there was one time my credit was like 450.
Okay.
And that, to back that up, that played a part in me coming home because I'm reading real estate books and I didn't even know about credit. So I called one of my friends, like, you got good credit? And he was like, you're not supposed to ask people that. And I'm like, I don't even know what it is. And I'm a graduate at college, which is disappointing. And then once I ran my credit, I'm like, damn, a 450. I'm like, that's not good. So I went back home, and that's one of the things I was working on while substitute teaching, while doing everything. And once I got to a certain level, and I was like, I'm never messing my credit up. I haven't missed a payment since.
Okay. So what would you say is a good credit score, like, in order to be eligible for the business credit?
I think if you 720, 740.
So 720, 740, they're not telling you no.
No, because I don't want to hear no. Like, you'll hear about, I'm not gonna go about racial discrimination and stuff like that, but if you walk in with pay stubs, a little bit of money, and all your documents lined up, it's hard to say no if you got a 740 credit score.
But key thing, I don't think people just heard you say, pay stubs.
Yes.
All this time you're doing is you still had your job while you're building your resume.
That's correct. Because that was help with the refi. You need those pay stubs to refinance to show. They didn't count my rental income. They said it was going to take 2 or 3 years before they even count my rental income.
Right.
And they were going to count 65% of the rental income. So that is not enough to be able to refinance out of some of the houses at the level I was trying to go. So I had to keep my job. And the banks were open to tell me that. They said, do not quit your job until
this mark.
This actual mark. Don't quit your job until then. And I held them to it, and I didn't quit.
And so, all right, so don't give them too much, but I would say, can you share maybe 1 or 2 places that you might have, like, somebody could go talk and find out about business credit?
Herman. You had Herman on, right?
I did have Herman on. Herman was a great guest.
Yeah. You keep Herman. He has a book. That helped. I read his book before I even called him. I saw him on something. I'm like, let me buy it. I read it. And then, you make that call.
You bought his book, got the information. So when you got the information, now you knew what questions to ask him. Right. And you were prepared. You didn't just call him and say, hey, tell me what's in the book. You actually paid for it.
Actually paid for the book, read it, had my notes and everything. So, and then when I call him, you already understand. And I actually already had started to implement some of those things, get those trade lines and line myself in a position to be ready for that the business credit.
Okay, so and that right there was the game changer for you, though.
That changed the game for me. That was it after that.
And so what can you say about some of the people who have the credit, have the cash, but they just like they won't pull the trigger. They got they got the 1 foot in, the 1 foot out. They just keep dodging back and forth, like trying to find the perfect deal per se.
Yeah, the perfect deal is just not gonna come. So another, let's say, tip was I slightly overpaid for some of the properties, and I did a lot of lipstick rehabs. So I think if you're,
What's the lipstick rehab?
oh, a lipstick rehab is cosmetic only.
Okay.
So I'm doing kitchens, bathrooms, we painting, we putting out new floors, but they're all of not a luxury level, but right under it to give you that good feel. So we're going to do a lot of lipstick rehab, so you feel comfortable. It's overwhelming to walk in to have to redo a whole house, but if you can paint, do some floors, and you and a few friends can actually do it if you get too far behind. So that's one of my biggest suggestions.
Starting out, so at that point though, with doing the lipstick, were you also asking top price, top dollar for those houses? Like if the comps is going for 240 and you do a lipstick rehab, can I still get the 240 like everybody else, or like how should I structure that?
Well, one of my tips was I follow Red Block.
Red
So
Block
Red Block,
Realty, right?
they were
Yup.
getting the highest after repair values in West Philly at the time. So if they were on, let's say, 60th Street, I'm coming to 62nd Street.
Okay.
You know, it's still within a quarter-mile radius, and honestly, I put the exact same stuff they had in theirs. I
Okay.
found out where they got their floors from, and I'm putting the same colors. It looks the same as their house without the mechanicals. So
Okay.
now my appraisals are coming in almost neck and neck with them.
For the
And
for the for the rehab, for the refis though.
right. So I'm not flipping though. I'm getting max rent though. So I'm getting $1,200 or $1,300 what was considered now. You know, it's not a max, but max back then.
Okay. Well, some people don't know, some people do know. So are you with your rentals, are you doing Section 8? Are you doing non-Section 8?
I started out with Section 8 because I started out with 4 bedrooms. I did a lot of 4 bedrooms because with Section 8 I knew I can get almost 14 to 1,500.
Easily with the 4 bedrooms.
And it's guaranteed. So I also focus on people who did not have jobs. I would get a lot of 100% vouchers. And
Okay.
100% is where Section 8 pays 100% of the rent.
So I'll speak on my experience. So like I hate the beginning process with Section 8. So like Section 8 was good with my one tenant that I had. I only did it with one. And like you said, she didn't work. So she only had to pay like $25 a month
Right.
for their 3 bedroom house. And I'm like, $25 for this house. And this house was nice in my opinion. You know, and I know your houses are just as nice, if not better. So it's like for them to pay the $25, but she ended up working, and now they only cover what do they cover? They cover like 60% of her rent. Can you hear? You can't hear? No. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Come here. I'm listening.
Can you hear me now? No.
Yes.
It's the headphones probably. So can you
Come
hear
here.
me?
Can you come here? I can't hear him.
You can't. Can y'all hear me? Audience, can y'all hear me? They can hear me, but you can't hear me.
I'm listening. I got you though. I can follow.
You gonna read my lips?
Can you get in there? I can't hear him. I can't. But no, go ahead though.
But we can hear. We hear you. You can't hear me.
What's up? You good? You good?
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying that for section 8, my only dilemma
No,
is
go ahead
section 8.
though.
Section
But
8
we can
came.
hear you. We hear you. You can't hear me. I'm listening though. I'm sorry. I can hear you if I pay attention. Yes. I'm good. We good.
You good? You sure?
Yes. I know we are having a Teddy Riley moment, but because I think my phone rang and I don't know what happened after that. But we good though.
All right. So you sure you can hear me? Because if you gotta,
Yes.
we'll log out and log back in.
Nah, just keep going. I'll let you know if I got to log out.
All right. So But go ahead. So we went through the Section 8. So just talk about your experience. Like, so do you rock with Section 8? You saying Section 8 is a good play?
Right. Let me log out and log back in because you're right. I can hear you. My bad. I'm fucking up. How you get out of it?